the kids. It's Friday night, free for all. Follies with the McMan late night McFiles special. We're grateful to be here tonight. We hope that you're going to enjoy the show, whether you like it or not. How about that? I got to change the heading up there. It is not Thursday night anymore. Man, this host has got to get his act together. This is the McFiles Friday Night Follies. With the demise of Stephen Colbert, I think it is time to throw my hat in for a Friday night late show comedy routine. Well, people say that the McFiles is a joke anyway, so I'm already halfway there, correct? I could become the Rodney Dangerfield, no respect at all. Anyway, we're grateful to see you tonight. I'm in a good mood. Had a good visit today with family and went to see my Aunt Sophie and Aunt Kate and Susie, our cousin, Sophie's daughter, and talk more about that Sunday. Aunt Sophie is 95 and 3/4 is what she said to me today. Getting ready to turn 96 years old soon. And been in the hospital, but fun meeting today. But tonight it's about you, and we're going to give you a chance to chime in and have your say about a lot of stuff. I got the cowboy hat on. I was had to dress normally for my family, I had to show a little dignity around the McDonald's today, so I'm in somewhat of a subdued shirt with no sayings on it. So you at least get that out of me. You get some class out of me tonight. But it's been one of those weeks, and we are grateful for you. Now we're going to try this out. I got to try this out. I think this is the one.
Jingle bells.
No, that's not it. I'm sorry. That is not it. That's Jingle Bells. I'm trying to find it's elementary, my dear Watson. This may be Jingle Bells again.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
There it is. I found it. Oh, there it is. All the AI haters, they'll love that one. I hope they get a good dose of that. Let's see here. Let me just make sure we don't play that automatically when it comes in. But anyway, it's elementary, my dear Watson, and I'm going to put that right here under the McFile logo. And let me see. We're on another computer when we're in McDonald South. I want to see if this one is the one I think it is. Bear with me. I hope
Because a lie is just a great story that someone ruined with the truth.
That's good. That's a good one, but that's not the one I'm looking for. We'll find one, Jeannie. Do you hear the words that are coming out of my mouth? We'll find it eventually here. I'm looking for it. But we're grateful to have you on a Friday night. I hope you've had a good week. We had a great radio show today, K-Star. We played Jonathan Taryn's interview from last night, and we hope that you enjoyed that. I know it's around here somewhere. I'm trying to find it. Anyway, some of these, well, I'll find it. I will find it. Anyway, I guess it's not important for tonight if you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth, but we want to get that one too on the laptop here. But anyway, we're grateful to see you tonight. Let's see. Nobody's in the chat yet. They'll come. We've got a pretty good crowd coming on tonight. But you're welcome to chime in if you're up here late with us tonight. And we got more folks in X right now than we do Facebook and YouTube. But if you got something to say it. We'll take your comments. I want to come to the Newswire tonight. Our story, big story of the night. And what I'm about to share with you folks is why they have been trying to distract you with the Epstein files. And it's a breaking story tonight. Tulsi Gabbard has declassified the DNI files. And it is basically confirming what a lot of conservatives, myself included, and others that have been swearing up and down that all this Russia hoax stuff was a hoax. It was perpetrated by Obama. Hillary paid for that Russian dossier. The left was lying to their teeth. We all knew it. The media was defending it to the very bitter end. James Comey, Brennan, Clapper, McCabe. Obama was the head of it, though. We're finding out tonight that Barack Obama was the head of the snake. Go figure. I've tried to be very diplomatic about the Epstein situation, and I'm going to continue to be. I warned you last night. I warned you Tuesday night. I think we were on Monday now. Yeah, we had lemon drop on when this Epstein stuff started percolating and bubbling. I told you, and I've been telling you all week, it's a distraction. It's a distraction. And the left is losing their lunch over it. They're demanding a special prosecutor to look into the Epstein files. After 4 years of having the Epstein files and not releasing anything, and let me remind you, I said it to the radio audience yesterday, Pam Bondi, folks, and if you want to find a clip where she said that she saw the files, let me know, or she saw the list, I should say, let me rephrase that. Please find me the clip where she said, I saw a client list. She said, I've looked at the Epstein files. I'm not defending Pam Bondi. She probably could have handled this a lot better. I tend to agree with President Trump, a small portion that she's handled it well, but there's a part of me that disagrees with that too. I think she could have handled it a lot better. Like we all can handle things a lot better, including your host sometimes. But from the start of this, I smelled a rat. I smelled it, folks. This kind of stuff. When you start digging up a dead pedophile's case and the fear and the division in the mega community that is caused, and I have seen again some petulant. It's like childlike 5th grade playground behavior that is coming from Trump's own base over this stuff. And I warn people all week, it's a distraction. I'm telling you, there's something bigger. There's something out there that the media is trying to keep your attention off of. Well, guess what? I think we found out what that is tonight. We found out what that is tonight, and I'm going to go over to my stage. I'm going to get this happy Cinco de me. We hadn't been on the laptop in a while, so excuse me if we've got stuff. I will save that one because we're going to talk about that. But this is Jesse Waters tonight. I want to play Jesse's clip about this because this is interesting. Jesse sort of sums it up pretty good about how Barack Obama is the head of the snake. And I want you to listen carefully to this because this is the story that is about to make Washington, D.C. rock, folks. It's treason. It's flat out treason among former presidents that was subverting the 2016 election. And 2016 was won legitimately by Trump, but they tried to convince the nation and convince many of you listening to me tonight that the Russians hacked the election. We've got a clip even from Lindsey Graham and John McCain when they visited Ukraine, and Amy Klobuchar, go figure, those three together on an airplane, that they were even echoing the crap of Russia, 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 Russia. And we found out it wasn't Russia, 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 Russia. We're finding out tonight it was Obama, 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 Obama. Roll the tape.
Alert, we just got a peek inside Obama's black book, and it turns out Barack knew the Russia hoax was a hoax all along, but pushed it anyway to sabotage the Trump presidency. DNI Tulsi Gabbard declassifying pages and pages of documents, showing Obama's intel guys briefed him just weeks after the 2016 election that the Russians didn't actually sway the election. Quote, we assessed that Russian and criminal actors did not impact the recent U.S. election results. Criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes. But Obama just couldn't accept that. So he and his staff instructed intel agencies to cook up new reports to support Russia collusion. Quote, after the meetings, Clapper's executive assistant emailed intelligence community leaders, tasking them to create a new intelligence community assessment per the president's request that detailed the tools Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. Tulsi Gabbard described what she found as a conspiracy to subvert the will of the American people. And she says the people involved should be prosecuted and has made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice. We knew Hillary created the dossier, and now we have proof that Barack was calling the shots, and the documents to prove it.
And he does have the documents to prove it. I thought there was more to that video than it was. But we do have the documents to prove it. Here's the Breitbart story. I'm going to read this to you tonight off of Breitbart. This is breaking. This is just within the last 3 to 4 hours. And there's Mr. Berrio. Did y'all see the, I don't know if you've seen it. Did you see the couples therapy session with him and Michelle on her podcast? They went to marriage therapy. The Obama administration's top officials committed a treasonous conspiracy. This is Tulsi Gabbard's words, not mine, folks. By manufacturing and politicizing intelligence to create the false narrative that led to the years-long Trump-Russia collusion probe. It led to Robert Mueller. It led to Jeff Sessions stepping aside like a cowardly pea that he was. I have absolutely no respect for Jeff Sessions. I have detested what he did to this country by what he did, and I'm not so sure he didn't do it deliberately. My brother and I didn't speak for about 3 or 4 months because he was a big Jeff Sessions fan, and all you QAnons out there that was out there, trust the plan, Sessions is in on it, Sessions knows what's going on, Sessions and Trump are working together, they're going to pull a fast one on you, ho, 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 ho. Sessions stepped aside because it was planned. I hope you QAnon people are chewing and choking. I shouldn't say choking, that's a bad word. I hope you QAnon people are enjoying your moment of shame tonight, because this proved that Sessions was clueless. And if he was knowledgeable of this, he's in on this. He wasn't in on the Trump side, he was in on the enemy side. But you QAnon people says, trust Sessions, trust Sessions, trust Sessions, trust Sessions, trust the plan. I never forget, me and my brother, we don't get into heated discussions too many times, but he had a Jeff Sessions sign in his front yard when Tommy Tuberville beat him like 70-20, and I asked him one night, I said, can I borrow that Jeff Sessions plan sign now and sell it on eBay to raise funds for the show? He didn't like that too much. But anyway, this led, all this crap that we're about to read to you led to all of that. And Mueller and that whole Adam Schiff, the impeachment, all of this stuff that put the country through literal hell for 4 years was nothing but a lie. We told you it was a lie. People told you this on the right. We told the country this. We screamed it to the top of our lungs. It was nothing but bullshit. But the Q people said, no, it's just a plan. And the media lied, folks. And Obama was the snake. Tulsi Gabbard calls it right tonight. It's treasonous conspiracy. What do we do to treasoners? What do we do to people that commit treason in this country? I'll let you fill in the blank with that. But he manufactured and they politicized intelligence to create a false narrative that led to the Trump-Russia collusion probe, according to the declassified documents tonight that was released by Tulsi Gabbard. Here is the document itself that we're speaking of tonight. And I'll just show it to you. And if you look there in the red, this was on Friday. This is actually the actual press release. She says she revealed overwhelming evidence that demonstrates how after President Trump won the 2016 election against Hillary Clinton, President Obama and his national security cabinet members manufactured and politicized intelligence to lay the groundwork for what was essentially a years-long coup. She called it a coup against President Trump. Let me tell you something, folks. Let me put this in perspective for you. If you did this in another country, if somebody led a coup against, say, the Saudis, or they led a coup against Iranians, do you realize that after the 12-day war, Iranians were basically rounding up people that they thought were spying for Israel and hung them from the rafters, and it was like a purge. They purged any political enemy they thought was part of the leaking of intelligence by to the Israelis over the 12-day war. I wish you would go to North Korea and do stuff like this, or China and do stuff like this. I wish you would go to Mexico even and do stuff like this, any European nation, and pull some crap like this and see what happens to you. But I want you to look at the yellow down there that's highlighted. She said, the information we are releasing today clearly shows there was a treasonous conspiracy. In 2016, their goal was to subvert the will of the American people. What does that sound like to you? What does that echo? That's exactly what they claimed Trump was doing in 2020. And they put J6ers in prison for this very same thing, claiming they were doing that to subvert the 2020 election when the Democrats had already written the book, had already written the game plan in 2016. This is why your attention this week has been on a dead pedophile. This is why people have stopped talking to each other, because of a dead pedophile and all the bullshit around it. This is why people have lost their lunch over a dead pedophile and his mistress who's sitting in the Tallahassee, Florida Federal Correction Institute for 20 years for trafficking. While that's been our attention, this has been under the surface. And we've not been paying attention to this. And I ask you a question tonight, which is more important? Let me remind you folks that think Trump's hiding something and Trump's the evil one and Trump is his cabinet, and I'm watching all these posts. We better pray for President Trump. He's losing his way. I don't know what's gotten into him. He's hiding things and all that nonsense. This is Friday night free for all, and it's going to be all hung out tonight. Let me tell you something, folks. You've got one of the most ardent people that has fought against child trafficking in his presidency the first term, and he's doing it again. Trump has done more to protect the children than any president in American history going back to Reagan. Reagan didn't even do this kind of stuff. 300,000 kids went missing under Joe Biden's reign. Trump's recovered 150,000 of them, almost half of them through Tom Homan. You think any of these Dems would have done that? And let me remind you again tonight, the Dems have had these files for 4 years, folks. They've had these files for 4 years. There's a manufactured story we're going to get to tonight that wound up in the Wall Street Journal. People were freaking out today all over the media, freaking out over X, freaking out in Telegram rooms, freaking out on Facebook, freaking out everywhere and claiming, well, Trump sent him a birthday card. Trump had something to say about that today. He's going to sue the living blank off of Rupert Murdoch. He's going to own Fox News, basically is what it's going to wind up doing. Trump's going to literally own the media. Trump's being accused tonight of subverting the government. Listen to how crazy the left gets. Trump is being accused of bribery by this same bunch that pushed this crap right here because Stephen Colbert was sent packing. He will no longer be on the air. The whole Late Show is going away. Not for any other reason than Stephen Colbert just sucked. And he became a liberal hack. He wasn't funny. People were sick of being lectured to. They were sick of his Trump hatred. They were sick of his stuff. The sponsors started pulling away. They were $40 million in the hole every year, $20 to $40 million in the hole every year with his show ever since he took over when Letterman left. Letterman was somewhat funny in the 80s. And then he turned into a TDSer. He turned into a liberal hack. And then the ratings started tanking. They got rid of him. Oh, and Colbert is going to lead us out of the wilderness. Yeah, he's led you out of the wilderness, all right. You're in bankruptcy. And CBS has had to write a check to Trump for a little fake editing. ABC has had to write the check. Jimmy Kimmel's next, by the way, I predict. Jimmy Kimmel is gone. You know, I got a clip I'll play here. I don't want to get too far off the subject here. I'm going to deal with that in a minute. But the source of all of this is the same place. The source of this is the same place. The left and the media. The media carried the water for this. But sadly, many Christians carried the water for this. Sadly. But I want to keep reading, lest I digress and lose my lunch before I finish. Announcing that Americans will finally learn the truth about shady actions taken by senior officials and former Barack Obama's National Security Council. Gabbard dropped damning documents that showed how they laid the groundwork for what essentially was a year-long coup. And there is the Twitter or the X post that she made, and it shows you sort of the... I encourage you to, if you don't follow her on X to do so. And I don't have time to go into all of this, but I'll just read the story to you, some of it. Despite the intelligence community's consensus that Russia lacked the intent and capability to hack U.S. elections prior to Trump's 2016 win over Clinton, Gabbard said Obama's officials changed their tune soon after the president won, ignoring the evidence. So they knew what they were doing. They ignored the evidence, and they kept this hoax up, thinking we've got the media to carry our water. We got enough stupid, gullible citizens to believe it. We've got enough people even on the right that hate Trump. They didn't like Hillary, but they hated Trump worse. So they would believe it. Never Trumpers. The Never Trump movement was born out of this. The Never Trumpers, they were salivating at this. They were salivating at this. She says, we accessed that the Russian and criminal actors did not impact the U.S. election results by conducting malicious cyber activities against election infrastructure. A declassified December the 8th, 2016 presidential daily brief that was set to be published the next day stated, by the way, Trump wasn't even in office on that date. That was coming from the Obama intelligence agency spokes. He didn't take office till January 2017. This is not Trump saying this. This is the Obama intelligence agencies telling him this. Obama knew a month before Trump put his hand on that Bible for the first time that all of this stuff was nothing but a hoax. Nothing but lies. While finding that the Russian government-affiliated actors most likely compromised an Illinois voter registration database and unsuccessfully attempted the same in other states. By the way, Illinois went to Hillary anyway. So what? It didn't change the results. Illinois went to Hillary, as it goes to all blue states and blue candidates, because it's blue, because it's got a liberal blank governor running it. Illinois voter registration database, but she says, let me read this on, the intelligence official said election monitoring combined with the fact that neither vote counting nor casting infrastructures were harmed made it highly unlikely that any results were altered. Criminal activity also failed to reach the scale and sophistication necessary to change election outcomes. Go figure, said the briefing. Notice the date of this briefing. I'm going to highlight it with my mouse here right there if I can fix this. Hang on just a second. And by the way, get you some of those beats there. That's the best stuff for heart, super beats. I take that, not to give them a commercial tonight. I wish they'd pay me for that. December the 8th, 2016. That was Obama was still in office at that day. Trump had not even taken office. This was when this came out. Basically, it says criminal activity also failed to reach the scale necessary to change election outcomes. Noting the briefing, this was prepared by the Department of Homeland Security with reporting from the FBI. That was, at that time, that was James Comey, the CIA, John Brennan, the National Security Agency, James Clapper, the Defense Intelligence Agency, and the State Department, and open sources. The brief noted that then DNI head James Clapper's office determined that any actions by the Russians probably were intended to cause psychological effects, such as undermining the credibility of the election process and candidates. Go figure. They were screwing with their heads. What? That is a Sherlock moment. Where's my Sherlock thing? No, Sherlock. The PBB was not published during the next day, however. No kidding. Recently uncovered communications revealed that the ODNI moved to push back publication based on some new guidance. It will not run tomorrow and is not likely to run until next week, wrote the deputy director of the PDB at the ODNI. I don't know what all those stand for, but whose name is redacted from the declassified documents. This came, listen to me, just days. Now, this is the punchline. It's always a punchline in these stories. This is your punchline, since we're talking about Friday Night Follies. Clapper's December 7th talking point stated that foreign adversaries did not use cyber attacks on election infrastructure to alter the U.S. presidential election outcome. That was hidden from the American public. That was never said. Clapper and Brennan and Comey and Clinton and all of these people, Schiff, Smallwell, good Lord, every Democrat from this side of Texas and some that crawled out of sewer holes were out there screaming, Russia, Russia, Russia. The only reason Hillary lost was Russia, Russia, Russia. Clapper was saying that Trump had stole this election. Trump's a liar. Trump's a fraud. Trump's this. Trump's that. Trump's this. Trump's that. Trump's this. Trump's that. Trump's this. Trump's that. Trump's this. 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 Tru He knew it. They knew he was not any of that. They knew that the Russians did not steal this in December of 2016, folks. On the day the ODB was supposed to be published, NSA officials, including Clapper, and then CIA Director John Brennan, National Security Advisor Susan Rice, who should be in jail tonight, the Secretary of State John Kerry, who should be in jail, then Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who should be in jail with all of them, then Deputy FBI Director Andy McCabe, who should be in jail tonight, and others met in the White House Situation Room to discuss what else but Russia. The meeting subject line was stated, quote, summary of conclusions for the PC meeting on a sensitive topic, redacted. What do you think that sensitive document had to do with? It had to do with Russia. Declassified meetings records showed that principals agreed to recommend sanctioning, listen to this, certain members of the Russian military intelligence and foreign intelligence chains of command responsible for cyber operations as a response to cyber activity that attempted to interfere or influence in U.S. elections if such activities meets the requirement. That is not what they told you. They had already drawn the conclusion they had done it. That memo was saying if it met the requirements, then we'd need to do something. But they were finding out that that was not the case. That was not the case. Following the meeting, Clapper's assistant emailed intelligence leaders telling them to create a new assessment. Per the president's request, detailing the tools Moscow used. Listen to this, folks. This is the punchline right here. They sent a memo out per Obama. The president in 2016 was none other than Barack Obama, detailing, quote, the tools that Moscow used and actions it took to influence the 2016 election. That was what was being leaked to the press at that time. ODNI will lead the effort with participation from the CIA, FBI, the NSA, the DHS, the document state, the original PDB, the document I just read to you saying there was no evidence of this, was never published. It was never published. Tulsi Gabbard is saying tonight, for months preceding the 2016 election, the intelligence community shared a consensus view that Russia lacked the intent and capability to hack U.S. elections. But weeks after President Trump's 2016 historic victory defeating Hillary, everything changed. Everything changed. In other words, the lies began to start flowing. Just like the lies are now flowing 4 years, 5 years after Jeffrey Epstein is dead, we've been fed stuff by the QAnons and fed stuff by all these people that have got way too much time on their hands and nothing between their two ears, as Jonathan Tarrant said last night. And I don't mind saying it, folks. I don't mind saying it. I guess I'm just in my old age, and as I'm getting up here, and folks, we've got so much stuff that is tearing the fiber of this country to pieces, and it frustrates me, and I know it comes across in my voice sometimes, it comes across in my sarcasm, but I wish Americans would just do something and wise up and get their heads out of their butts. For goodness sake. We've got an Islamic Marxist that's about to take over the world's biggest city. And again, we got people chasing dead rabbits down dead holes, and we got people consumed, just consumed with a dead pedophile. When this story right here, folks, this has to do with the fabric of our government. This has to do with the fabric of America. This is the fabric of the foundation by which our Constitution is built on. It's free and fair elections. You've heard that term a lot. You hear it a lot from the left, how Trump subverted a free and a fair election. And the J6ers tried to usurp. And see, when Joe Biden stole the election in 2020, and people were just trying to question what happened in Michigan and these mail-in ballots, and Dinesh D'Souza has basically been blackballed by the right. He's been blackballed by conservative media. He can't even go on Fox tonight. He showed that film. You can't even say the term 1,000 mules without getting censored. And all he did was show how they did it in 2020 with the mail-in ballots through the COVID virus that we talked about last night. That was ultimately their plan, keep everybody home, and then concoct this scheme with these mail-in ballots to do what they did in 2020. And we just wanted to ask a few simple questions. You couldn't. You couldn't. You get your channel yanked. You get censored. You get kicked off Facebook, YouTube, all of them. Jack Dorsey, if he on Twitter tonight, this story would have been buried. This would probably, Gabbard would have been kicked off Twitter had she not been, had this happened under Jack Dorsey, this would have never come to light. Not on X, it wouldn't have. Not on Twitter, it wouldn't have. Free and fair elections. Wow. What a concept. What a concept. This is what matters. This is what matters. This is what matters. And yeah, Chris is a little wired up tonight. It's Friday Night Free-for-All. We've been so diverted. We're living in this fog. I say it often. It's like people live in this fog. It's a fog. It's a fog. And I'm going to get to the funny stuff later, but this is serious right now. This is serious. President Obama needs to be charged with treason. Now, where that's going to go, I don't know. And I asked you a question out there in the chat tonight. Do you think he's going to be held accountable? Because that's the ultimate question to me. The facts are being laid out on the table. These documents were not doctored. These documents have been redacted. These documents did not come from Trump. These documents came from his own intelligence agencies, folks. This is the declassified. They kept this secret and kept this away from the American public for now 9 years. This was buried for 9 years. And had the nightmare been elected in November, you would have never seen these documents. You would have never heard about these documents. And there's only a few podcasts that are even talking about this tonight because, again, everybody's talking about a dead pedophile. And you've got the social media idiots out there trying to claim Trump's a traitor and Trump's a sellout and Trump's this and Trump's that and Pam Bondi's the devil and Bangino's the devil and Patel's the devil and everything else. And they're hiding stuff from us. There's no outrage about this. There's no outrage about this. I've got the outrage tonight. We should have outrage about this. I don't have outrage about the Epstein case. I don't care about the Epstein case. And these people, and I saw people and it's not personal what I'm about to say, but all these people saying, well, they need justice. They need justice, folks. The victims, unfortunately, have had all the justice they're going to have. He's dead. He's dead. What more can you do? You want to dig him out of his grave, whatever's left of it, put his bones together, scotch tape them together, or get some Elmer's glue and glue his body back together, the bones that are in the grave, and sit him up on a trial and have him retried, and then take a hammer and slam his bones and try to kill him again? No. I hate to tell you, folks, and I'm not trying to demean what's happened to the victims. I'm heartbroken at what happened. I've watched some of these documentaries of the things that these girls went through, and it's sickening. It's heartbroken. It's disgusting. It's demonic. But ultimately, whether Epstein had a list or not is not going to make a whole lot of difference in our country's future going forward. Trump's doing everything he can to stop that from ever happening again. But this right here, if this don't get addressed, they will pull this stuff again. This is your election. This is what undermines the very fact of why we're Americans. We have free elections. Very few countries have the electoral system that we've got. In fact, I don't know if any do. This is what separates us from the bees. This is what separates from the animals of communism and these communist, Islamic, Marxist nations. We're a republic of we the people. And then you've got a former president. Snake wasn't even Hillary, because that's what we've been told for 9 years, that Hillary was behind this, and Comey and McCabe. And there was a few of us, and I give this network some credit. We were screaming, Obama was the snake. Obama was the snake. He was the head of the snake. Let me read on. I'll get you laughing in a minute, but I'm not in a laughing mood right now. I'm not in a laughing mood right now. This is serious. In an even more alarming twist, she found that Obama officials immediately leaned on their allies in the media to advance their falsehoods. Go figure that. The media who pushed these lies need to be held accountable too. With anonymous sources within the intelligence community leaking classified information to the Washington Post, claiming that Russia had intervened in the election to help Trump. This is the quote. The next day, top national security officials, including FBI Director James Comey, CIA Director John Brennan, DNI James Clapper, gathered at the Obama White House to discuss Russia. Obama directed the IC to create a new intelligence assessment that detailed Russia election meddling. Let's see here. And there it is right there. Let me take a screenshot of this. It says, even though it would contradict multiple intelligence assessments that would be released over the next several months. Let me save this, and I'll just show you the whole thing because it cut it off there. And I'll pull this up right here. Yeah, this is a Friday night, and yes, McDonald is word to freaking heaven tonight. Listen to this. That's the whole tweet. That was cut off a little bit. Read that with me. At that last part, a new intelligence assessment that detailed Russia election meddling, even though it would contradict multiple intelligence assessments released over the previous several months, that none of this was true. They used the media to do it. They always use the media. They're using the media tonight with Epstein, folks. The media is pushing falsehoods. The media is screaming up and down about this birthday card. Rupert Murdoch's about to get sued. He's about to get sued. We're going to deal with that maybe next week more. This is Tulsi. She says, Obama, and there it is again. The tweet that I just read to you out of the article. Those are the actual tweets. And then this is another one. We're almost done. By January the 6th of 2017, this was right before the inauguration, a new assessment that directly contradicted the IC assessments that were made throughout the previous 6 months was released. That was 2 weeks before Trump took office. Put his hand on that Bible. These documents detail a treasonous conspiracy by officials at the highest levels of the Obama White House, that went all the way up to Mr. O, to subvert the will of the American people and try to usurp the president from fulfilling his mandate. Let me just reword that for you folks. They were trying to overthrow an election. They were trying to usurp Trump's ability to govern. And that, if you remember this, in 2017, it wasn't even 3 months into his administration that Jeff Sessions stepped down in this Russia probe. Jeff Sessions could have put a stop to this crap. He could have put a stop to it. He knew it was baloney. But what did he do? He stepped aside. I've got a conflict of interest, so I'm going to turn this over to a special prosecutor. I hope you Sessions lovers are happy with yourself tonight. I really do. I hope that wood of that campaign sign is just a burning in your backyard. I never was a fan of him. And from that day on, I lost total respect for him, and I'm glad Tommy Tuberville beat him 80-20. And I hope Jeff Sessions never sees a political office ever again in his life. To me, I don't think he's qualified to be the janitor at the Holiday Inn. He put the country back 50 years doing this crap. And folks, I remember those 4 years, and most of you do too. Trump, despite all of this, accomplished a lot during that first term. But what more could he have done? And I know it's providence in some ways, because I don't think he would have been as effective from 2020 to 24 with the Congress he would have had and the things he would have had to fight. God knew the nation needed a reality check, and to be shown what would happen if he took his hand off the White House and put a leader in like Joe Biden and let the country choose this kind of dementia-laden person, to see how low the country could get and see how evil and wicked and abysmal the country could get under a Democrat left-leading situation. And we got so vomiting sick we couldn't even stand the fact that his vice president, and we witnessed this, and we finally said, Trump wasn't too bad, and we put him back in office in 24. And he's had the best 6 months of any president in any history, and I don't see any reason why it won't continue. These midterms are so key next November. It can continue for 4 years. But folks, this is what we all knew. But people in D.C. were carrying this on, even people on the right, even Jeff Sessions. And then Bill Barr wouldn't stop it. Bill Barr could have, when Trump basically let him go finally, and Bill Barr stepped in, Bill Barr could have stopped this. Bill Barr could have stopped this. None of them stopped it. None of them stopped it. And the QAnons just kept on. Oh, this is just a plan. This is just a movie. We're just watching a movie. I was on a show with a former host of a show that didn't have a brain in his body. He wasn't nothing but a prima donna. And he was literally claiming that Mueller and Sessions were working together. I mean, he was so idiotic, crazy, and nutcase insane. He was claiming that Bill Mueller and Jeff Sessions were working behind the scenes of a sting operation. That they all were going to step out one day before Trump ended his office, and they were going to go arrest all these people that were involved in this, including Obama. That's how nut job the QAnons became. And I'm not holding anything back tonight, folks, because I remember those 4 years well. It destroyed this nation. This thing crippled this nation. It caused us to lose credibility. It caused us to lose faith in our government institutions. We didn't know who to believe. And then the COVID thing came along at the end. They did the same thing with the COVID lie. They did the same thing. The same thing with the COVID stuff. The same thing with J6. And we let him do it. We let him do it. And I give Miss Gabbard a lot of credit tonight. I got to come back over to my live screen. I give Tulsi Gabbard a lot of credit. You can read that article. It's going to be in our Telegram room later. I give her a lot of credit tonight. Took some guts to declassify this. I wish it would have been done sooner. But she's only been in office 6 months, so I think it's a pretty good thing that she did. That's one of the first things that should have been done. It would have never been declassified. It would have never seen the light of day. It's like I told Jonathan Taryn last night. Did that young man do a good job? I told him today how proud I was of him. He's like a son to me. He's just a good kid. And he's family to me, and I love him. I could have hugged his neck last night for the job that he talked about. And it was just such a grounded, sound discussion about what happened 5 years ago. And I was so appreciative of that. And, but it's like he said last night. I lost my train of thought there. All right, I know what I said. If we don't get to the truth during these 4 years of all of these hoaxes, you're not going to find the truth. Because I will tell you, if the Dems take power ever again, this stuff is going to be buried. This stuff will go away. And it's either now or never. And I think, and again, I don't want to make all the Epstein lovers out there think that I'm not concerned about what the Epstein situation was about. I saw a comment last night about we need to know the truth. That I'm with you with. I'm all with you about the truth. But I'm not on some witch hunt and some revenge hunt to pull out a list that don't exist just so we can talk about it and be salacious on our Telegram rooms. I'm concerned about those victims. And I think the people that are truly concerned about the victims, folks, to be frank with you, some of these victims probably are tired of hearing about this. They need to move on with their lives, and we're not letting them move on with their lives. They can't get any more justice than they've gotten. I don't know what people want. Now, if these people that were on this plane and they went down to that island and they participated in this pedophilia, you got to prove that. You got to prove it. You got to have almost, in these days, you almost have to have the video. You have to have a video of people doing something or corroborated testimony that these people were doing. And folks, this pedophile ring, if there was one, and I don't doubt that there probably was, but you got to have corroborating evidence that they did it to go after him. And I am man enough. I'm the one of the few that are willing to get on this show. And if I'm wrong about this, I will come tell you that I was wrong. I've done it before, and I'll do it again. But I'm going to stick to my guns about this, folks. Look, I'm going to put some trust right now in Trump. I trust Trump's instincts on this. And this scam article today that people went freaking losing their lunch over was nothing but a scam. And by the way, do you realize, I don't know if you know this or not, let me show you the loser, and I should say the winner, however you want to view it. I call him a loser. But here is the wonderful, and I put that in quotes. Where is that picture at? Where is that picture at? I had the picture of him. Oh, where is it? 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 Goodness. I just saw it. Maybe it's on my Twitter page. Hang on just a second. Let me get to my Twitter account. And it's on my profile. Let's see here. Where is that picture? Here he is right here. Here it is. I thought I downloaded it. But this is out of the Gateway Pundit. This is the brilliant Wall Street reporter tonight that supposedly broke this story that Trump had sent Mr. Epstein a birthday card and people were losing their lunch over it. Well, this is his name. Who wrote the Epstein hit piece on President Trump has a connection to the founder of the Fusion GPS. Why is that important? It was funded by Hillary. That's where the dossier came from that fueled the Russian hoax story. You remember all that? They funded the story that Trump was having abhorrent sex acts, and we're an adult program. We got this late at night. This is why we're on late, because I hope the adults are in the house and not the kids. Trump was, I don't even say it. I probably shouldn't even say it. But it was abhorrent stuff that he was supposedly doing hookers over in Europe. They were the same people that gave that to the DNC and it ultimately produced the Russia hoax. Go figure. Timing is everything. On the day we find out that the Russia hoax is a lie, why not put out another story to get our attention off the Russia hoax story that all of it was crap and put something out by the same guy that produced the original story about the Russia hoax? There's the winner that did that. You can see that on the Gateway Pundit. We'll have that story too in our Telegram room. All righty. Now, let me go back to my stage tonight. I'm not quite done with the serious stuff. We're going to get to some funny stuff and some other good stuff tonight. We're not done with you. It's late night. McFiles. Are you enjoying it so far? Say amen, somebody. Here is Lindsey Graham and John McCain spreading the same crap. This is when him and Amy Klobuchar and McCain, the late McCain, went to Ukraine. Listen to Graham. Listen closely to what he says here. Watch this.
We're going to go back and tell our colleagues what Russia's up to.
This is 2017. This is 2017, about a minute and a half.
We're going to go back and tell our colleagues what Russia's up to in the Baltics, what they're doing in the Ukraine. We're going to get briefed about Georgia. We hope to make 2017 a year of offense. We believe that Putin has hacked into our elections in America, that he's trying to undermine democracy all over the world, and it's time for new sanctions to hit him hard as an individual, his energy sector, his banking sector. It is time to push back against Putin, but be a better friend to our allies over here, including Georgia.
This is a very important trip. We just left Ukraine, where we've seen firsthand what happens when Russia crosses over into a country's independence, and we saw it in our own election with the attempt to influence our election.
We will be working for much tougher sanctions against Russia. They attacked the United States of America. The hacking was an attack, and we should be treated as such, and we think their financial institutions and other aspects of the Russian economy should be addressed, and we will strongly urge our colleagues to enact more meaningful and stronger sanctions against Russia because of their attack on the United States of America.
Well, even the Republicans were pushing the Russia hoax. The Russians interfered with our elections. No doubt that the one in the middle there, who was a treasonous bastard anyway, he was pushing it too. He hated Trump's guts. Graham hated Trump's guts. Amy Klobuchar hated Trump's guts. This is why they've had your attention on Epstein this week. Not about Colbert's ratings. And see, again tonight, our attention is on Colbert. This is, let's see, that was a minute 25. This is a gentleman that, let me see here. Anyway, I've got another video about the Russiagate stuff that I will play. Here is a good tweet, though, This is a good tweet. We're going to get some funny stuff. This is Merrick Garland. This was from Vance Langman tonight. I like Vance. I follow him. And this is perfectly said. He says, so let me get this straight, Wall Street Journal. Trump deranged psychopath Merrick Garland raided Mar-a-Lago and ordered the FBI agents to go through his wife's underwear drawers, which he did, looking for garbage on Trump to end his political career. But in 4 years, Merrick Garland never released the Epstein files, kept his connection to Jeffrey Epstein completely quiet. But the Wall Street Journal comes out tonight and says Trump sent him a birthday card. But the Attorney General of the United States did all he did to try to destroy Trump. They never mentioned Epstein in 4 years. Never mentioned Trump and Epstein in 4 years. Go figure. This is why they have your attention diverted on that tonight. This is interesting stuff here. I think this has to do with Epstein. I'll play this. It's off CNN. Roll tape.
All right, thank you very much, Manu. So I want to go straight out front now to someone in the center of all of this. That is the Republican Congressman, Tim Burchett. He is a co-sponsor of a resolution.
This is my representative here in Tennessee. He lives sort of near me. Go ahead.
In the House to release files on Jeffrey Epstein. I very much appreciate your time. So Manu's reporting, maybe there's a vote that will happen, that maybe Johnson has agreed to something on Epstein. You're obviously in the center of this. You're central to this legislation. Is there an agreement at this point?
No, ma'am, there's not. And honestly, if the Democrats were serious about this issue, they wouldn't have waited 4 years to bring it up. This is all politics. We need to be worrying about the victims in this thing, and we need to worry about justice. And
I'll agree with Tim, but again, I say this to all these people. That's all I'm hearing this week. We need to worry about the victims and justice. What more justice can we give them? What more justice do they want, folks? I mean, what more can we do? The man's dead. The man's dead. The man's dead. And whatever his fate is in eternity, his justice is coming later. You can't give him any more justice. The lady that was helping him, Jane Maxwell, she's in a federal prison in Tallahassee for the next 20 years of her life, according to, unless you get some appeal, some judge to let her get out free. And don't be surprised if that don't happen. But, I like Tim, but again, I hear him echoing the same stuff. We need justice for the victims. I'm not saying we don't. But folks, the reality of it is, I tried to stress this last night before I left the show, these victims may not see justice on this earth. They just may not. Folks, it took us 9 years. Trump, let me tell you who also needs justice tonight. Trump deserves a little bit of justice as far as needing some resolution to what his family has went through over the last 3 election cycles now, and what they've put him through since 2015 and 2016. And do you not think that he deserves a little bit of justice too, and he deserves some retribution? And I'm not saying this in a eye for eye, tooth for a tooth manner, but this revelation of what they did to him based on lies by a former president that did this. They knew this stuff was all poppycock. They knew it. Go figure. Anyway, we found a picture. By the way, this is Dinesh D'Souza tonight. They have blackballed Dinesh. I got that on a very good source. And they're part of this network, actually. And they told me something here recently that don't surprise me. Fox is blackballed. That's why you don't see Dinesh on Fox anymore. But he posted this 3 hours ago. He says, I'm hearing that we can't put Obama in handcuffs because that might cause civil unrest. But wait. Democrats didn't hesitate to drop 90-plus charges on Trump. They were ready to lock him up for life and deal with the ensuing civil unrest. They would have declared martial law. If the right would have rose up like we're scared that the left's going to do. And besides, what's the catchphrase tonight? I'm hearing it again this week. Nobody is above the law. Folks, these Democrats are even claiming that Trump's behind the Colbert fire and it's a bribery case. This is the country we're living in. I say it for the 50th time tonight, folks. And this is why they got your attention on Epstein. That's why they got your attention on Epstein. All righty. I hear that James Comey was walking out on the beach today. He found some more seashells. I just wanted to share that one with you. That's his latest discovery. His daughter got fired, by the way. We hadn't had a chance to talk about it a lot. It's on my ex account and other things. But she was head of the Sean Pip Daddy Dip Combs trial. And the Epstein files, speaking of the Epstein, she was part of the prosecution, botched both of them pretty good. And Pam Bondi fired her yesterday. Good for her. So I think Jim might need his daughter for defense purposes later, but that's just my opinion. Let's see here. This is Trump. He told Leslie Stahl this in 2016, that all this was a bunch of poppycock. And what they were doing against him was treason. Leslie Stahl mocked him. Trump was right again.
Was when they spied on my campaign. They spied on my campaign.
Well, there's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
Boy, don't you think that aged well? Leslie says, there's no evidence of that, Trump. There's no evidence they spied on your campaign. There's no evidence that they concocted the Russia hoax story. Let me play that back again. This is why we trust herpes more than we do the media.
Campaign. They spied on my campaign.
Well, there's no real evidence of that.
Of course there is.
No.
It's all over the place. Leslie,
Sir,
they spied on my campaign and they got caught.
Can I say something? You know, this is 60 Minutes, and we can't put on things we can't verify.
You won't put it on because it's bad for Biden.
We can't put on things we can't verify.
Leslie, they spied on my campaign.
Well, we can't verify
It's been totally verified.
No.
It's been, just go down and get the papers. They spied on my campaign, they got caught.
No.
And then they went much further than that, and they got caught. And you will see that, Leslie.
You will see that, Leslie. Well, we're seeing it tonight, folks. And by the way, folks, I understand the comment. Nobody is sweeping the Epstein stuff under the rug. You're missing the whole point about it, folks. We're missing the whole point. You know, we got our attention. People are, that's the whole thing that's driving me crazy. We're so swamped in caring about the Epstein stuff. This affects our republic. The Epstein stuff don't. This affects our republic. Folks, if we don't have free and fair elections, we got no country. If we don't have elections free of this interference, if we don't have stuff that stopped, and this, again, this wasn't being done by some underling media type at the White House. This wasn't being done by some low-level official that just had an axe to grind with Trump. This wasn't being done in any other part of the government except the highest levels of the former president's White House. Do we understand that tonight? I'm not so sure we do. And I'm a little agitated because I see our country and I see us on the right going down these holes, going down these rabbit holes, while our country's foundation, this is a foundational issue tonight. And they did spy on his campaign. They did concoct this Russia hoax. They did concoct the J6 hoax. They did concoct the COVID hoax. They did impeach him for nothing in the impeachment hoax. And we told everybody they were doing it. But tonight, we're finding out in real time, black and white ink, the head of the snake was not even Hillary, as many of us thought. It was Obama. There was a few that got it right when they pointed the finger to Obama. He was concocting, and he was basically the orchestra leader of all of this, working hand in hand with Comey, with Clapper, with Brennan, with Clinton, with McCabe, Lisa Page, Peter Strzok. You can go down the list and name the names. Rod Rosenstern, Jeff Sessions, Robert Mueller. It was just like an orchestra of crap. and we listened to the tune, and Bill Barr has no less culpability in it either, because he could have put a stop to this mess. They all could have put a stop to it. The Attorney General's office could have stepped in. Jeff Sessions could have stepped in and told the Democrats to go pound sand. I wonder tonight, this is my question, did Jeff Sessions know about this memo in 2016? I wonder if that memo that basically said the Russians didn't interfere with the election, it makes me wonder if they don't need to open an investigation into what Jeff Sessions knew and why he didn't step up and stop it. Why he didn't stop this mess. Interesting question. I wonder if Bill Barr saw that memo. Because you see, if they saw that memo and then saw what the Democrats were doing and saw the treasonous behavior of Obama, Jeff Sessions could have filed treason charges against Obama then. And we might be in a whole different place fully tonight in this country. Because the same left characters, folks, the same characters of the left are still doing it. They're still doing it. All righty, I'm going to calm down. I'm going to try to. Oh, I've got a couple of things. Oh my goodness. I gotta lighten the mood. This is the Philly kiss cam tonight. Did you hear about the Coldplay incident of the lovebirds that got caught on the kiss cam? They weren't married to each other. Well, the Phillies tonight gave a salute to what happened. It was pretty funny. Roll the tape. Wait till the end. This is my life, yes. We found another kiss cam that you may not have seen. Roll the tape. Yep. I'm sure that one has been deleted off the screen. Going back to Colbert, here is Johnny Carson. I want to play this clip from Johnny Carson. This is Mike Wallace's time at 60 Minutes. Chris Wallace's dad, the liberal idiot that can't find a job now. But Mike Wallace, back in the 90s, 80s maybe, asked Johnny Carson, who would probably be turning over in his grave tonight to see the state of late night television, why he didn't get political on his show, The Tonight Show, which was really, to me, that was what comedy, and Carson had a way, there was some innuendo at times, but Carson could have you rolling on the floor, and the comedians that he had, especially in the early days, they just made you laugh without all this vulgarity, and they never got political. Carson made a little joke at Reagan from time to time, and there's been things, but he was an equal opportunist. I mean, in the 60s and 70s, he went after the Dem presidents, just like he went after the Republican presidents. He made fun of them all. It was comedy. Shane Gillis tonight is being tarred and feathered because he turned the ESPYs into a comedy show, which it's supposed to be funny. The ESPYs don't need to be, and all these liberal leftists are losing their lunch over his jokes, and the left just can't take a joke. They just can't take a joke. People out here, I got listeners that can't take a joke. They're just, I don't even know what the word is. They can't take a joke. America has learned, I don't know where we got to this place that we can't laugh. Roll the tape.
People say he'll never take a serious controversy. Well, I have an answer to that. I said, now, tell me the last time that Jack Benny, Red Skelton, any comedian use his show to do serious issues. That's not what I'm there for. Can't they see that? But why do they think that just because you have a Tonight Show that you must deal in serious issues? It's a danger. It's a real danger. Once you start that, you start to get that self-important feeling that what you say has great import. And strangely enough, you could use that show as a forum. You could sway people. And I don't think you should as an entertainer.
You should not do that as an entertainer. And while I'm at it, I wish you sports figures would just shut your mouth and play ball. We don't pay tickets to go see you play to be our political conscience. We don't go to see you to be our spiritual compass. We don't go to see you to be our economic compass. We don't care what you think. We just want to see you hit the ball. We just want to see you catch the ball. We just want to see you throw the ball. We just want to clap your hands when our team is winning and boo when our team is losing. We just want to enjoy to go to a ballpark without seeing gay pride signs all over the place and the gay pride flag flying. We just want to enjoy a night out with our families. We want to be entertained. And if you movie stars think that we really out here in real America give a what you think about Trump and you think about us conservatives, we don't. But let me tell you this, Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player of all time, I think could give you some advice tonight that he gave a reporter one day because they asked Michael Jordan the same question. Well, why don't you get political? Why don't you step up and speak out about these things? And Michael Jordan told the individual, he said, well, I will tell you why, because there's just as many Republicans that buy my Nike brand of shoes, my Jordan tennis shoes, as Democrats. And he said, if I open my mouth, he said, I'm going to offend one of those groups, if not the other. So it's best for me, he says it's best for me to take Chris McDonald's advice, even though he didn't say that. He said, it's best for me to take Chris McDonald's advice and shoot the basketball and play sports and sell my shoes and shut up. Johnny Carson was a man that understood that. That's why he stayed true to the Tonight Show. That's why if you look back and ask anybody what was the best show on late night, it was his show. And nobody could fill his shoes. Jay Leno never could take the Tonight Show to the heights that Carson did. That's why David Letterman failed at CBS. Carson, and there was a lot of rift between Carson, Leno, and Letterman. Letterman thought he was going to be the heir apparent, and when he didn't get that job, he got ticked off at NBC, and he went to CBS. They gave him his own show. But Carson crushed him every night. And the only time Letterman soared a little higher was when Jay Leno came in 1992 after Carson retired. And Letterman and Jay was whereas Carson was up here, Letterman's here, the playing field got even. But this modern crop of comedians and this modern crop of these late night hosts, folks, Stephen Colbert gets, look, I couldn't stomach him. I never watched him. I hardly play any clips of his because he's just a vile liberal hack. He's just a vile liberal hack. And maybe in this time of introspection that he's going to have for a long time because he's not going to have a job come May of 26, maybe he can get some help for his Trump derangement syndrome. We'll see about that. We'll see if he can get something. Here's Ronald Reagan, another wonderful president. I like Reagan. I was a young man then. I'm not so young now. Best comeback against a liberal hack reporter, Sam Donaldson, ever.
Sam? Mr. President, in talking about the continuing recession tonight, you have blamed mistakes of the past, and you blamed the Congress. Does any of the blame belong to you?
Yes, because for many years I was a Democrat.
Yeah. Perfectly said. Thank you, Reagan. I'm going to play that again.
Sam? Mr. President, in talking about the continuing recession tonight, you have blamed mistakes of the past, and you blamed the Congress. Does any of the blame belong to you?
Yes, because for many years I was a Democrat.
Yep. For many years I was a Democrat. Well said. By the way, folks, I don't know if you heard this tonight. This also will be in our Telegram ring. The chances of a recession 2 months ago by the economist predictors were 70%. You realize that? We're in July. As we started the summer at the 1st of May, all the economists, all the chicken little sky's fallen. All the prognosticators were saying that we were 70% certain that there's a recession coming because of Trump's tariffs. That number tonight, are you sitting down for this? Well, you probably are sitting down. I don't know anybody that's standing up and watching this crap tonight. But 19%. There's now a 19% chance compared to 70% chance that there's going to be a recession in the country. It's amazing. It's amazing, Ethel. It's amazing, Ethel. It's a miracle. I'm going to have a big one. When the truth is being told, what happens to confidence in the economy? It's amazing. When the lying media is shown to be liars. Here's the stupidest individual of Congress. Listen closely to what Jasmine Crockett says about these illegals.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly...
Let me stop that. We're not throwing them out of their country. They have no constitutional rights. They have no due process. They're here illegally. We're not kidnapping anybody. We're simply arresting them, Jasmine. Get your facts straight. If you're going to be dumb and stupid, pick a challenge. Please pick a struggle. Don't be both. Okay? Don't be both.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country? Like, that is absolutely insane. So, yes, all I got to say is y'all need to get these fools out of here. But
get these fools out of here. In other words, let me play that end of that again. Did you hear what she said about other countries? Listen to this crap. Listen to this.
Absolutely insane. So yes, all I gotta say is y'all need to get these fools out of here. But
let me play that one more time because my head is spinning. I'm not even sure what she's saying. I think she's trying to tell us that if other countries did that to us, we wouldn't like it. That if we had people over in other countries illegally and they kidnapped them and sent them back here, we wouldn't like it. Jasmine, nobody's that stupid to go to another country illegally. We're the only country that allows this crap thanks to your party.
As far as I'm concerned, you randomly kidnapping folk and you throwing them out of the country against their civil rights, against their constitutional rights. And frankly, how would they feel if some other country decided that they were going to just start throwing people randomly in our country?
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. It's time for it's time.
Elementary Mighty Watson.
It's Elementary Mighty Watson. It's Elementary Mighty. I can't even play the rest of it. Nutty. That's just dumb. It's just dumb. But that's the left. Alrighty. It's Friday Night Follies. I'm trying to lighten up a little bit.
Hey, sir. You know I pulled you over tonight? Yeah, I got a pretty good idea. Hey, I got a big favor to ask you. You mind if I step out of the car for me? Yeah, sure. Go ahead. All right, thanks. Yep. Let's step back here. Okay. So you saw the lady in the passenger seat, right? Yeah. Okay, well, that's my wife. And, the lady in the back seat, did you see her? Yeah. Let me ask you this, though. Are you married? Yeah, I am. Okay. All right, here you go. So, that's the mother-in-law in the back, right? Those two got in a huge fight this morning, and the mother-in-law insisted we take her home right away. So, that's what I'm trying to do, get her home. I'm worried they're going to make up, and then, she's going to live with us another 6 months, right? So I got to get her home before those two make up, okay? All right, so I'm going to give you a full police escort. Okay. I'm going to turn on the sirens, keep the lights on. By the glory of God, we will get you there. Now let's go. Yep.
Priceless. No commentary on that one. I'll just let that one speak for itself. No commentary. Anyway, all right. Now this is Greg Gutfeld. This was his monologue. This is a 5-minute monologue. After this, I got a lot more to say tonight. I do want to play a couple of things about Colbert. This is an interesting clip. Watch this.
Donald Trump has been sworn in as president of the United States. I know. Listen. We're just as confused as you are. Joe Biden did it. I sat down. and just started crying with relief. And Evie said, you never have to talk about him again. And then I cried with joy. After a bizarre and vicious campaign fueled by a desperate need not to go to jail, Donald Trump has won the 2024 election. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May.
Bye-bye. 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 Adios.
Watson.
Adios, amigo. Adios, amigo. Adios, amigo. By the way, Morgan Freeman been watching the show. I'm just saying.
The McFiles is the bomb and Chris McDonald the gas.
Thank you, Morgan. Thank you for that.
The McFiles is the bomb and Chris McDonald the gas.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Elementary, my dear Watson. Now, if there's any kids in the house, or snakes in the house, or whatever you are, you might want to leave the show, because Gutfeld had the absolute. I was up late last night into the wee hours of the morning, around 3, and I had to catch him late last night. We're about done. We're going to take your questions. It's almost 12:41. We got almost 300 people listening to us at 3 in the morning, 2 in the morning right now. Lord have mercy. Some folks just are bored. They must be bored to be listening to this crap. So I got to keep you up. We're going to take your questions. We're going to go about another 15 minutes. And, but this is Gutfeld last night. There's a few moments in here that may be a little PG-13. So if you can't handle humor and you got a stick up somewhere where you sit down, this may be the time to leave. Because this is funny. And we can take a joke on the McFiles. And we can laugh. And we can have fun. I think Gutfeld is going to replace Colbert as the king of late night. By the way, his ratings, they say tonight, is up like 87% over the last 3 to 4 years. Gutfeld has basically almost topped out. He has his show from 10 to 11, and he beats all 3 of Kimmel, Fallon, and Colbert. And what's the other one? Seth Meyers, the late guy. You add all 4 of their viewerships. Greg Gutfeld is kicking, you know what, and taking names. Because of stuff like this. This is why I love Greg Gutfeld. Rotate.
The Epstein saga has led to some startling revelations. For example, we just uncovered the only black man on Earth with no musical talent.
Epstein died by suicide. And you must be blind. You've been telling us you released the file, but where are they? Dreamsicle on a summer night in a folding armchair.
I hate to admit it, he's from Georgia.
Oh, man. That guitar is now demanding assisted suicide. Hank Johnson makes Mike Huckabee look like Eddie Van Halen. Now, Hank's a Democrat, and like many today, they're now demanding answers on Epstein. But you gotta ask, where were they when we were the only ones demanding answers over the years? Oh yeah, their guy was in power. So what did they do with all those big scandals? Well, they mock them, and not just Epstein, the Russian collusion hoax, the COVID lab leak, the Biden cover-up. Each one was a huge scandal and a huge cover-up,
yes.
And the Dems treated them the way women treat Star Wars fans. You know, with zero interest. But now that Trump's in power, they see an opening exploiting the MAGA rift around Epstein. And I get it, they have no policies. Epstein is the only hope they have. Before this, all they had was supporting men who shave their nutsacks in women's locker rooms.
That's why your attention has been on Epstein.
Now, Trump just had the greatest start to a presidency in history. I haven't seen anything come out of the gate this fast since Joy Behar won the Kentucky Derby. Yet we're supposed to focus entirely on Epstein? Sure, if a list of organized child rapists at high levels exists, that is huge. But remember, while you were caring about that, the Dems weren't. But now that it's a political issue, they do. And sure, the DOJ isn't perfect. If it were, they'd call it the Department of Sidney Sweeney. but it's miles ahead of what we had last time. The DoD isn't leaking or leaving billions of military gear behind in foreign countries. The FBI is no longer doing domestic terror investigations on parents and Catholics. And they moved pornography out of the children's library to where it really belongs, the Clinton Library. But now people whisper that Trump's vulnerable. But look, if someone flooded your basement for 4 years, you can't expect it to be bone dry overnight. And I get it. You can't just ignore this, because that's what the Dems would do. And that's not Trump. He doesn't run from chaos. He embraces it. I would say Trump is as cool as a cucumber, but why bring Ana Navarro sex?
I mean, just scoot that over that little section there. We'll go back to that. All right.
So we don't know about. And it could be that releasing them would put the country in danger. Or perhaps this information could be used to nail some really bad people, and once we do that, then the files can come out. Maybe it's not about protecting people, but this country. We trust Trump on everything else, and he's delivered. Why would he suddenly depart from that?
Come on,
Given his record, we can trust he's making the right call. And I get it. We invested a lot in this. But we were also led astray. We were told that there was a client list. But take it from Alan Dershowitz, Epstein's lawyer. He says Epstein never had one. So is he right? It's a valid point. Who keeps a list of the crimes that they commit? However, I did see a list floating around on the dark web, and sadly, most of the names were redacted because they might be innocent, but some were not. Let's take a look at the list.
That's one of his guests on the show last night.
I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's real. The point is, if Trump's not releasing something now, it's because he knows more than we do, which is kind of how it's supposed to work. When he bombed Iran, he didn't put it out on a Google Calendar invite.
That's right.
Because if Trump's going to tell us, then he's also telling Iran. So this isn't a town hall. It's not even a pure democracy. It's a constitutional republic, meaning we elect Trump to make the tough calls. We don't do the job, he does. I would say that's why he gets paid the big bucks, but he's doing it for nothing. And he took a bullet for us. So he's earned our trust. And while I get the urgency about this matter, when it comes to national interest, maybe trust that Trump is doing what you hired him to do.
Come on,
He's
Greg.
got access to intel we'll never see, and right now it's too dangerous, perhaps, to give away. But until Trump tells us what's what, why help the Dems undermine all these big wins? Because before Trump, we sure weren't getting many.
Well said. Period. There was one joke in there I was debating whether to let him say it. I chose not to do it. You'll have to download that. I'll put the unredacted version on Telegram for you. That's pretty good stuff. Alrighty. I'm going to give you your chance now. This is your time. I'm going to come back over here. It's your turn. I've been going 1 hour and 28 minutes. You got 10 minutes. Say what you got to say. Say what you got to say. Say what you got to say, but make it smart. And comments on what we are talking about tonight. Good to see my old buddy Curtis Carmen up with us tonight. Buddy, good to see you. I really mean that. Jason says, we are the Night Owls. Good to see Jason Rankin in the house. Look at here. Good to see some folks over on Facebook tonight. We really are grateful for them. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Corey Aguilar, good statement. What happened to the real journalists, the ones who braved war zones and dug deep to uncover the truth no matter what? Gone, Corey. They are absolutely gone. Corey, I will tell you what's happened. In many ways, the journalists of those years have been replaced by the social media hacks. We are more concerned about likes and shares and audience numbers, the advent of Twitter, the advent of Facebook, the advent of YouTube, and look, I'm right in the middle of all this. My show is not driven by numbers, because Chris is the same way. I don't care whether I get 50 views or 5,000. I would prefer to get 5,000 to 6,000 views a night, but let me tell you this, I might as well go ahead and open a can of worms tonight. I was getting those kind of views when we had crap people on here and we had people spewing crap, because people like to eat crap and they like to inhale crap. And I just made a decision after 2020 and the election that we were going another direction. Our numbers are not the same, but I tell you what, they're close. But I will tell you this, when we made that transitional change and we started cleaning this network up of all the garbage that was on it, I felt the Lord smile on us. We may not have the big numbers that other networks do, but I lay my head down at night knowing that what we're putting out here is truth. It's truth. People can watch us or they don't want to watch us. It's up to them. We don't go out begging for listeners. And we're not going to change at the whim of somebody that gets offended at something we might say or some hat we may wear. I mean, I get people offended at hats I wear, shirts I wear. I'm too harsh sometimes. I'm too soft sometimes. The show was too edgy for me. It's not edgy enough. And I think the social media advent destroyed real journalism. In some ways. In some ways, it saved it. Because the current news media is so corrupt, people are getting their news from shows like this. And they're getting their ideas from shows like this and other shows that are out there that are doing their job. They're few and far between. Because most just want a viewership. They don't care about what they're putting out. We do. And I say that not in a bragging, egotistical way, folks, but I will tell you we're committed to doing that. And we really always have been. We were a little new to this when we started. It took me 2 years, maybe 3, to get my feet underneath me. Because I was brand new to this. I'd never done anything like this. I was talking to, we met somebody up in Cape Cod. Maybe it was Plymouth Rock. I met this, Kathy and I were up there, and we met this lady, and she was talking about, we were eating dinner outside in an outside thing, and she was talking about social media. And I told her what I was doing, and I mentioned we did face shows on Sunday. And she said, well, did you start those during the COVID years? And I said, no. I said, we were doing it before all the churches had to go online due to the COVID hoax. I said, we were already doing it. We were already having online services. And she was pretty impressed with that. She said, well, I have to check you out. And I hope if you're listening tonight, we enjoyed meeting you, and I hope you're having a wonderful time with your grandson up there still. But you can either put crap out there and junk and get viewership, or you can tell the truth and thank God for the ones you got listening, and thank ones that support us financially. We couldn't do it without you. Still can't do it without you. People come and go like the weather. People get offended at everything like the weather, and people come and go. We've got a saying here at the McFiles, people come and go like the wind, but the best people stay. The best people stay. And we're grateful for those that stay. Glory, that's what's happened to the media. Those days are gone. Those days are gone. Sadly. Your point is well taken. Your point is well taken. Anyway, Chris Davis, the Democrats always say that no one is above the law, but they sure seem like they are. No, they believe they are, Chris. They believe they are. They believe they are. Carol Smith says, will mainstream media even mention the Obama story? Carol, good to see you tonight, by the way. Curtis Carmen, good to see you, man. Carol, let me tell you something. That is an excellent question. And I probably should have made that. We may take that poll Monday night. The interesting thing about this story, it came out today, Friday. All these stories always break over the weekend. Because tomorrow, all of us are going to be with our families. I have to decompress sometimes. Weekend, Saturday's my day. I just stay off the internet. I stay off the phone as much as I can. Spend time with my family, my wife. If I see my kids, my grandkids. Saturday's my day for me to get away from this stuff. And I think that's most people because they work during the week. They follow this stuff. And, and it's amazing how on Fridays, all these stories like this that we talked about tonight always break. They always break on the weekends because their hopes are that people won't figure it out over the weekend. And by Monday, we're back to our routines, we're back to our grind, and we just forget about it. I would put the odds of the media mentioning this Obama story at about 20%. And the only people that are reporting tonight that I see, Fox is reporting it. To their credit, Fox is reporting it. MSNBC is not. CBS is not. ABC is not. NBC is not. CNBC is not. Breitbart is reporting it and Gateway Pundit's reporting it. And there may be a few other outlets that may have mentioned it. Twitter, it's flowing like a river on all the conservative X accounts. But I can tell you what, it's being mocked by the left tonight. To answer your question, no. They're not going to mention it. They're not going to mention it. And if they do, it will be to discredit it. The Dems tonight, you know what they're upset about? Other than ICE agents arresting illegals off the streets. By the way, I got to show you this. I do have to show you one video about this. I need to quit the video. You got to see this because this is how we're being lied to about the illegal situation.
The Department of Justice has filed criminal charges against a South LA woman saying she staged a fake immigration kidnapping. Uriana Julie Calderon is facing charges of conspiracy and making false statements to federal officers. Last month, the local activist said she was taken from a South LA parking lot by so-called bounty hunters and into federal custody. She also claimed she was held at a facility near the border where she was urged to self-deport. Homeland Security called this case a hoax and say they found her on July 5th at a shopping center in Bakersfield. They also say phone records and surveillance video proves her story is not true. She is currently in custody, awaiting her first court appearance.
No kidding. By the way, Gavin Newsom praised this woman. This was one of the women that he was shedding tears over, that they were getting hauled off by ICE agents and vans. It was a hoax.
Very much, my dear Watson.
Anyway. I don't think the Big O will be shown, Prison. Hate to tell you, I disagree with you wholeheartedly. It's not going to be shown. It's not going to be shown. Liz Goldman. When was the last time anyone has talked about getting the hostages home? Our priorities are so skewed. Liz, we don't have any more American hostages over there, as far as I know. The only thing that's left with the hostages are 50. There are 30 dead bodies and 20 live hostages that are all Israelis. Ivan, I can't think of the young man's name. He was at the White House. He was the last American hostages. We've gotten our American hostages home. Israel still has about 50. It's either 20-30 or 30-20. They're about, it's close to half and half. Half are dead, half are alive. But I'm with you to a degree. I keep screaming this week. And I was screaming it Monday night. People didn't like it, and people disagreed, and that's fine. You're welcome to disagree. But people thought the Epstein thing was the big thing to put their flag down in. And the mega community is about to bust into pieces over a dead pedophile. I'm with you with your last statement about our priorities being skewed. I'm with you there 1,000,000%. This story tonight, folks, this story's got wheels to it. This is the story that we have been waiting 9 years for this truth, for this revelation that we already knew. People out here in the public, people out here with a brain, we knew it was a hoax. Social media people knew it was a hoax. This show knew it was a hoax. I was screaming about Jeff Sessions that it was a pathetic disgrace. When we first got our feet underneath us, that was one of the biggest subjects in 2019, 2018, 2020. before that election. And I mean, as I said, folks, I love my brother. We've kissed and made up. We have kissed, but we've hugged and made up over Sessions. But he loves Sessions because he was in the queue. And he was adamant. One night, his wife was laughing at us so bad. I wasn't trying to argue with him, but he was ready for fisticuffs over trying to convince me that Jeff Sessions was a good man and he was nothing but he was working behind the scenes to bring all these crooks to justice. And come to find out, folks, Jeff Sessions needs to be asked a question tonight, a very simple question. Jeff, did you know about this memo? Did you know what the intelligence agencies knew? He was the Attorney Blanking General of the United States of America. And when he abdicated that office to give Bob Mueller and Rod Rosenstern the reins to trash Trump and put Trump's family, they put people in jail over this, folks. You realize that? They put Roger Stone in jail. They put Paul Manafort in jail over trumped-up charges. These men would have never been charged for anything had they not been Trump friends. People went to jail because they were hell-bent in proving that Russia was interfering with this election when they never were. It was a lie. Liz, to your point, our priorities are messed up. Our priorities are messed up. But the hostages are home. All the American ones, at least. So that part, they are home. They are home. Anyway, any other questions, folks? Any other questions? Carol, did Biden know as VP any proof? That is also a question that I'm sure will be asked, but that's a big one. I don't know. I'm sure that Obama and him talked. I don't know. I found a picture of the auto pen, by the way. I did find a picture of the auto pen. I'll share it. There it is right there. There's the Biden auto pen. So, did Biden know? Yeah. I'm pretty sure he did. I don't doubt that he didn't know. I mean, of course, there's no proof that his name wasn't mentioned in that DNI declassified document tonight, but they worked hand in hand during the first term, at least, of Obama's term, his second term from 2012 to 2016. And Obama's been working he was working with Joe the second time. I don't even think Obama was the one calling the shots, folks. I think it was somebody. I think Susan Rice had more of a hand in this than Obama. I may be wrong about that. But Obama did know that this Russia hoax was a lie. It's proven tonight. So when everybody starts screaming up and down that Obama didn't know and Obama this, and I think Dinesh D'Souza's post is one that is so on target tonight that, again, I'm hearing that and I'm seeing that out there. Well, we can't arrest Obama because we might have civil unrest. Buddy, we've got civil unrest. We've had civil unrest in this country for close to 15 years now. Are you joking me? I mean, seriously? We've been we've been so divided. Jonathan Tarrant, his last comment last night, he said, he's a young man. He said, Chris, I'm concerned about the division in our country. It is divided. We've already got civil unrest. I tell you what will happen, though. If they do the right thing, it won't happen again. I tell you what, to send a message to these actors and these people that perpetrated this crap, that this behavior is unacceptable in this republic. And they need to do it. They need to do it. They need to do it. Curtis Carmen, the bottom line is every American needs to put themselves in Trump's shoes. Every individual that was on TV at hat time was part of this. They were Curtis. And, I'm so grateful you said that about Trump's shoes. Nobody except Trump and his family understand that statement better than they themselves. And I love what Greg Gutfeld said at the end. Trump took a bullet for us, folks. He almost got killed trying to save this country. He almost got killed trying to get to this point that we can get this truth out. I will guarantee you that what Tulsi Gabbard did tonight would have never seen the light of day under any other administration, Republican or Democrat. Trump was the one that would have brought that to light, and he's bringing this stuff to light tonight. And the question is, are they going to have the kahunas to carry this through? I wouldn't worry about civil unrest. This needs to be dealt with. This is a sitting president, a former president that committed treason against the United States Constitution and instituted a coup. And I say it again tonight, if he would have done this in any other nation in the world, he'd have been hanged or worse. And I'll leave it at that. I don't want to go any further with that. But that's what would have happened. I would challenge any of you, if you don't believe me, we'll try to go do it in another country. Try to go to another country illegally and see what happens to you. We're the only country that allows this crap. We're the only country that allows this crap. And anyway. Alrighty, 53 to 47. Actually, the poll is close tonight. Do you think Obama will be held accountable for his role in the 2016 Russia hoax? I'm going to end that poll, 53-47. That's sort of half of you, half and half. So forth. Jenny, I'll agree that I got a better quality audience. I do. Good to see Elaine Willard in the house tonight over on Facebook. Jenny, Greg. Says Greg Sherry Wallace, good to see y'all tonight. He says, yes, I believe Obama and the entire treasonous thugs will pay a deadly price for their crimes. We'll see. We'll see about that. I don't know. I'm not so sure about that, but we'll see. Anyway, good to see Jason Rankin. Dana, good to see you. Dania, good to see you, dear friend. Tim Neal, good to see you. We got a lot of folks in the house late with us tonight, a lot of California folks. And good to see you. Cleo's up with us. She's actually awake. Good to see her tonight, helping us out there. Listen, we love you. I'm done. I've gone all. It's 1 o'clock. This was a good Friday night late show. I am no Johnny Carson. There is a funny side of me I've really never fully let go, but we can take a joke. I'll just leave it at this. Chris laughs at himself a lot. I can laugh at you because I can laugh at myself, and I can laugh at the country, and I can laugh at these things because I don't have a stick up my butt. And I hope that we made you laugh a little bit tonight. Hope we made you think a little bit tonight. I hope we got you fired up a little bit tonight. And I hope that you're enjoying this journey with us called the McFiles. And we hope you enjoyed this Friday Night Follies. I'm going to find that. Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Just for you, Jenny Castellanova. I got to get it on this laptop, but I'll find it. But anyway, I thought that was a really good monologue by Gutfeld. I do. I believe it was a great monologue. I'm trying to see if there's any other little thing that we want to post. Nope, I don't see anything else. Other than this, just a reminder, if you go to a baseball game or a concert, make sure before they get you on the kiss cam that it's your wife. Make sure. Just saying. Just saying. I'm just saying. If you enjoyed the show tonight, put some fire in that house. Put some fire in that house. We're grateful for you. Have a good night, everybody. Be blessed out there. I'll see you over the weekend. Have a good night.
is just a great story that someone ruined with the truth.
The McFiles is the bomb and Chris McDonald the gas.